My name is Krystyna Lennon. I've been a hypnotherapist for 30 years. I hold an O1 visa as an expert in this field, and I've done 50 TV shows all over the world. Yay. So let's look at the Dolores Cannon method properly.
I work in the somnambulistic level, which is the deepest possible level of trance. Most hypnotists stay in the lighter levels of trance.
So Dolores Cannon claims that she makes people go to a much deeper state of hypnosis than your ordinary hypnotherapist would. Now, factually, scientifically, there has been studies, and the old theta, beta, alpha state has somewhat been discredited. And as yet, there is no findings that there is any kind of depth to hypnosis. There isn't a special place you go to when you're hypnotized deeper. Depth is just kind of a word we use to describe what somebody can do in that state. When Dolores talks about somnambulism, she talks about it like it's something mystical. Depth in hypnosis isn't anything mystical, it's just a description of behaviour. So when we talk about depth, very often people think you need to go deeper to get things like amnesia, automatic speech, vivid imagery. That's not actually the case. There isn't any depth to that. Hypnotherapists are hypnotising people to have operations under hypnosis, and there's no real level of depth to get them to that stage. All it simply means is that person that you are hypnotized is deeply responsive.
So I'm going to have to go back that far so you'll understand what's happening right now and why we're going into the new earth and what's happening to the people in the three waves. It all fits together. Well, in the beginning of life on earth, they said there are councils. There are councils over planets, there are councils over solar systems, there are councils over galaxies. Each one of them has rules and regulations that they live by. Nothing is random. Everything is very regulated out there.
She presents this wild story as absolute factual history. So the claim here is, because it feels real, that it must be real. This is where things go wrong, and they can be quite dangerous. Hypnosis makes experiences feel real. If you want to research Elizabeth Loftus' findings, she talks about false memory and how a group of people watched a video of a car crash, and if they were asked the question, how fast was the car going when it bumped into the other car, the result would be quite low, a low speed. They asked another control group, how fast was the car going when it smashed into the other car? That control group imagined the car going much, much faster, and yet they both watched exactly the same video of the car crash, smash, bump. So if you're in hypnosis, a highly suggestible state, you can really start to lead a client. Just the suggestion that we are going to a past life presupposes that there is a past life. And if I ask you a question like, where are you? Your brain will answer based on its beliefs. If you believe in past lives, then you will get past lives. You will think about past lives. The brain will create experiences based on your beliefs. And strong emotion doesn't turn imagination into memory.
Once you understand all of this, this is what I work with. And we do go to the past life because sometimes we get information there that's going to help the person. But it's not all there is. When we get to them, then everything is done. And this is where the information comes from that I write about. And it doesn't come through one person. It comes through many, many, many people. To me, it's like putting a puzzle together. I'll get one piece of information from one person, another piece from somebody else, and then eventually begins to all make sense, and I'll get the whole story. And this has been happening for years. And if you've read The Convoluted Universe, this is where all of a sudden the session will not be past lives, it'll be going to a place where this information has to come through. It's what's best for the person, but also it's giving me the information they want me to pass on. To show there's no way this could be made up, I would be in England doing a session with someone. They never interrupt the therapy part. They always try to take care of the person. But toward the end of the session, they'll say, Dolores.
So Dolores Cannon talks about thousands of people reporting the same things, that she has the same findings with all of her clients. Now, this gets misunderstood. Dolores attracted a certain kind of client. Because she talked about aliens, because she talked about these unusual experiences, people that are interested in those kind of things would have followed her. They've read her books. They know the language she speaks. They knew what was supposed to happen in a session because they'd read it all. They'd had all that content.
I've had people right there in my office be healed instantaneously before they leave the office. And it shows how powerful your mind is once you understand, and it all falls into place. But
that's not proof, that's expectation. When you put the same beliefs into a session, the same filter, the same frame of reference, you're going to get the same stories coming out. So I've worked in this industry for 30 years. I've done over 20,000 hours with clients. And I have had the very privileged experience of hypnotizing people for days at a time. When I've been doing TV programs, I've been working with people in and out of hypnosis for 2 days at a time. Now, when you're hypnotizing people for whole days at a time, if anything unusual was going to happen, it would have happened. So I have worked on 50 TV shows and I have been a consultant on lots of other TV shows. People will come to me and ask me if something is possible. And very often they have been told that certain things are not possible by other hypnotists. They come to me, I make it work, I make it possible. So if hypnosis is measured in depth in some way, I have got people pretty deep, and I have never had any of the experience that Dolores Cannon has had. And the reason being, I don't market about past lives. I don't talk about aliens or mystical experiences, so I don't get them. If I wanted those experiences, I could create them easily.
The person I'm touching now, only the person I'm touching now, whenever I speak to you, you will answer me in Martian. Whenever I speak to you, you will answer me in Martian because you only speak the Martian language. And the person I'm touching now, only the person I'm touching now, you will understand that Martian language. You will understand that Martian language. On the count of 5, you'll all be wide awake. On the count of 5, you'll all be wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wide awake, wide awake. Your name, what's your name again?
Straight up.
What language is that?
It's cool.
Anybody understand him? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Could you ask him where he's from? No.
Some people laugh.
Scarborough.
I can do that on stage, but it doesn't make it true. I don't think that Dolores Cannon deliberately set out to mislead people. However, most of the claims she made are completely misleading, and the practice itself can be very dangerous. Regression-based therapies are already highly criticised by psychiatry for good reason. Most psychiatrists actively warn against any kind of regression to cause because it can install false memory and it can destabilize people. And what Dolores does goes even further. This isn't regression to our own life. This is regression to past lives or alien life. That is far more destabilizing, and the people that were going to her were obviously vulnerable in the first place. Yes, people will have gotten results from her kind of hypnosis because under hypnosis, everything seems real. It's like adding a magnifying glass to those beliefs. And the people that are dealing with the fallout from all this aren't hypnotherapists or hypnotists, they are psychiatrists. They are dealing with the anxiety disorders, the disassociation, the paranoia, the identity confusion that can come after this kind of work. And you might think that psychiatrists don't know about hypnosis. And why should they have a say? Because they are the ones dealing with the mess at the end of it. So my view on hypnotherapy is to refer back to the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. So the Dolores Cannon method of hypnotherapy, I'm afraid it gets an absolute hell no from me. So is it a pass or a trash? It's a trash.